Von Fry, legendary badass, not shy, telling you how it is, Von Fry will die.
Hey guys, so, and I put this off, been busy, but there was a free weekend preview of HBO on Cox, so I checked out Man of Steel. Hadn't seen that before, thankfully. And anyhow, before I get into that, I want to say a few things here. This is going to be kind of a blanket vlog rant covering a few things. Off the bat, Stephen Colbert replacing David Letterman. You know, at first I thought that was a really clever idea. He's within the family over on Comedy Central. So I'm thinking, sure, that'll work. I like his show, the Colbert Report. I like that. But he's not going to be doing the Late Show in character. We don't know what he's like out of character. America loves him as the character. So that's kind of risky to me. Of what's going on right now, I really do like Jimmy Kimmel the best. So, it's a pretty good choice, but I wish he had stayed in character, because now we're going to lose the Colbert Report. That's something to think about right there. I did see Captain America the Winter Soldier this Sunday. I had something really cool planned for my rant on that, but it's outdoors. It looks like it's going to rain. I'm not messing with it today, maybe tomorrow. And I was thinking maybe even setting up a new channel. Because, let's be honest, I perfected the movie review in every form. Written, video. Now I'm even doing it while exercising. I gotta take it a whole nother step. But does Google deserve to get half of my revenue? This channel you're watching right now was in AdSense for all of 3 hours before they kicked me out, saying I started clicking on shit. When no ads were ever clicked on, because I don't even think they started running. I seem to be blacklisted, but given my expertise, this is the only thing you can do. If you're from Kansas, all you can do is post shit on YouTube. So I'm hurting financially and I need to make some money with my skills. Let's go back to Man of Steel. The biggest problem with this movie is it never lets you catch your breath. It's part of the BS filmmaking school that I think we could say is kind of started with Star Trek. That would be the J.J. Abrams Star Trek, where so much is happening you can't keep straight the flaws. So I call that BS filmmaking. And yeah, I pioneered that, coined the term. Everything is amped up to 11, the whole movie. So, beginning of the movie, we're hanging out with Jor-El over on Krypton. He's got a wife who's having a baby, and the plane is exploding at the same time. He's got some kind of dinosaur thing, I think he said the name of once. It flies him in. He steals this codex from... I don't really know too much about Superman, because honestly I think Batman is way more intriguing. Superman's just kind of invulnerable to everything. He's kind of got a power that's an answer to everything. It just makes him a little cheap. So I have never really been a big Superman fan, but I understand a few things about him. I mean, he lives in Kansas, so... Or he's from Kansas in some way. Grew up there. But, we got all this chaos going on. General Zod, played by, I think his name's Michael Shannon. I've seen him around a lot and didn't even realize it till looking up his filmography. First time I came across him was like 2008, I think. The movie, The Missing Person, I think it was. And I think he's okay. I like him as General Zod. I think General Zod is a good villain for Superman. Just not the first movie. So, here's the problem. Anything that is a reboot is basically saying the first one sucked, I can do better. And the problem is there's a lot of times where the first one doesn't suck. It's just, I want to make more money. So they're soiling the reputation of everybody who worked on the original Superman films. And I know a lot of people even like some of them. So it's really a slap to your face. Just see it as that. It's like, you guys are chumps, you'll spend money on this. Here you go. And so everything has to be anew. General Zod gets captured for fighting with the people over on Krypton, banished through a black hole for 300 years, but when Krypton blows up, oh yeah, and he killed Jor-El in the process, who didn't put up much of a fight that you could look at. When stuff blows up, that means he escapes. So now, with the planet destroyed, and Superman was like sent away on a ship with this MacGuffin, this codex, that basically just gives some kind of reason for General Zod to hunt him later. Zod's freed, he's looking for Superman, who ends up on Earth. But we flash forward to the point where Superman's in his 30s. And he's out doing Dangerous Catch. No, Deadliest Catch. Save some guys on a rig that's on fire. Flame effects look awful. Most of the effects look okay, passable enough, but these, whoa, not so good. Now, I didn't see it in 3D, I don't know how it did there, but it did not look good on HBO. He goes and into, like, the Arctic. He hears that there's something under the ice. Looks into it, it's ship from Krypton. But Lois Lane is there also reporting. And she's playing the role of baddest ass female feminist reporter chick ever. And she's ever present. Like, they cook up excuses for her to be in every scene. When he goes into the ship, he finally meets his dad in the form of, I'm a hologram. And Russell Crowe shows up way too much in this movie. It's absurd. So, and they kind of make that like, oh, I know how to make the ships, I program them, I can be in all of them. So, he's hanging out over there, learns a little bit about himself, gets his costume. About the costume. The cape doesn't make much sense because they weren't really rolling around on capes like this over on Krypton. But the suit, I was very apprehensive about the suit. I was like, well, he doesn't have the red underwear thing going on, but it still reads Superman. It still has the S. It looks familiar enough. Of course, it's dark, brooding colors. So everything's got to be like that these days. I thought that if you have to put Superman in a suit, in a costume, they did about as good of a job as they could be asked to have done. So, props to the costumers. At this point in the movie, I think we start experiencing a hell of a lot of flashbacks. It's like, why couldn't we tell the movie forward just for the sake of it? It's like Christopher Nolan's on this in some kind of attach my name for credence. And so it's like, yeah, because he's involved, we gotta have a bunch of flashbacks. In the flashbacks, we have Diane Lane as Mom Kent and Pa Kent as Kevin Costner. We see different stories of Superman gaining his powers, coming to realize he has X-ray vision. He can save a busload of kids. Sorry if I get these out of order because it's really scattershot. The only point where the movie slows down to let you take in any surroundings is when Pa is telling them about how maybe he could have let that kid die in the bus. The kid that was drowning. Let all of them die maybe? Not sure what he's saying there, but he freaked out the kid how he was rescued or whatever. And that's it. It's just a nice little talk. Sitting on tailgate of a truck. That everything else is amped up. The one time The family fights. What do you know? Tornadoes happening. Well, we're having a fight. What's that? A tornado in Kansas. They're not that frequent, folks. I'll tell you another little thing about tornadoes. If mom is sitting in the back seat of your damn vehicle with the dog, and a tornado's coming, she grabs the dog and leaves. You know, how useless is mom? Just leave the dog in the car when it's sitting right next to her. Gotta have something for them to do. Superman offers to go rescue the dog, but Dad's like, "Nah, I got it." Rescues the dog, then just kind of stays by the truck and lets himself get sucked up by the tornado. He's standing right by a tornado, just kind of giving this look like, "You be a good boy." No problem. His clothes are staying on. I know, because I have family members who've been in tornadoes. It pulls your clothes off. And he's having no trouble. Just kind of waving goodbye. No trouble at all, because we do our research. So that's the story of time growing up in Smallville. Meanwhile, in the present, General Zod comes to Earth, says, "One of my citizens is here, I'm looking for him. Bring him to me," and no one gets hurt. They meet out in the desert, probably a sensible place to duke it out. But no, the ship lands. General Zod's having a tough time acclimating to the Earth for whatever reason. He says, "Look, we come aboard my ship," and it's the opposite effect. Superman, he's having a tough time on the ship where it's pressurized like Krypton. And, oh yeah, Lois Lane, you gotta come with. It's not, "I need a reporter to relay my message to you folks." It's, "We want her too." Well, why? "'Cause I said." And she's like, "Gee golly, mister, I'm in for the action. I'm the best reporter around." So Lois Lane got on my nerves. It's really the Amy Adams and Russell Crowe movie. A pretty decent General Zod movie. Superman, he spends 30 minutes before he says anything to anybody. Almost doesn't talk the whole movie. You know, gotta give this guy credit, and hell, I already forgot his name here, but he did a good job emoting as Superman when asked. Why didn't they let him do it more? Over on the ship, fight breaks out. Zod reveals his plan to turn Earth into Krypton, because the way this codex thing works, it makes you born in a certain role. You're like an army ant. And he's the general of the army ant, so everything he's supposed to do is supposed to protect Krypton. Yeah, a lot of freedom of choice there. You know, what good is any of this stuff? Because they had these outposts on other planets. That's where we had the ship from earlier in the Arctic. Their planet's getting destroyed, and they have these outposts that they just up and abandon. That makes sense. Then we get to the real hellacious parts, because Russell Crowe helps Amy Adams escape the ship. Can't she just simply jump into a pod and go? No. Her escape pod malfunctions. Superman has a little talk with Dad. Then he goes and rescues her. Now they're duking it out over in Smallville. Which, as long as this movie is, it felt like 2.5 hours. Could be a little wrong there, but as long as it is, the duking it out should have been restricted to just Smallville. Save something for the sequel, because you know it's coming. The movies today are just franchises. You should say, "Oh, hey, you want to go to the franchise?" Because that's what makes the money. No one's really trying to tell a story. They're saying, "How can we drag this shit out over 4 movies?" Because we always like to make the last one split into 2, so you pay twice. So, yeah, the fight, I mean, it didn't look great, but I do like some of the mechanics of the battle. Like how that lieutenant of Zod's, she has this fast-moving thing she's doing. It's kind of jerky. But, you know, if you had some abilities, powers, maybe it'd work out like that. I know a lot of people were complaining about, and this is something that made me not want to see the movie initially, about how there's so much product placement. Where was it? It was sensible to me that there's a 7-Eleven, even though there aren't 7-Elevens in Kansas. We have IHOPs, we have Sears. Not a lot of Sears that aren't associated with a mall, but whatever. It's not like Superman was beating people over the head with an IHOP sign. I thought it was okay, it was appropriate. That's the best way to say it. Here the movie was pretty much in the black on just the product placement alone, but I didn't feel like it was too bad. I've seen it worse. Thought they integrated it pretty well. The fight there ends up being taken to Metropolis because that's where one of these terraformer units is set. There's also one in India doing nothing in the ocean that anybody cares about because it's in India. But no, Metropolis is getting like pile drived. Buildings are blowing up. People are being crushed. I assume they're just kind of running. But I have to assume there's a lot of collateral damage. Superman comes in to the rescue. He's also got it gets a little confusing here. There's so many different cutaways. He's got the ship that he met his dad on. That's getting involved somehow. He's going to send it into Zod's ship and activate the drive to send them elsewhere. That's the best way to beat them. I thought that kind of makes sense. Like, hey, he can't kill me, I can't kill him, but we can send him away. That works for me. Well, I guess he thought he couldn't kill him, but Christopher Maloney really has it out with this lieutenant chick. Like, they're going at it, and she's drawing blood. There's a lot of people that seem to die. I don't know if it kills them to send them off or not, because we don't really see them die. Like, that's the thing with the PG-13. It's about bodies. You shoot a cop in the face like the Joker, as long as the body doesn't hit the ground and the head doesn't blow off, you don't see any blood. PG-13. I say the intention is pretty R. So, stuff's crashing all over the place in Metropolis. Christopher Maloney, I'm assuming he's going to be dead. Superman suddenly fights this tentacled ooze, oil coming out of this pile driver terraformer. Doesn't have too much problem with that after a whole bunch of angst. Blows this thing up. Just in time to save some people from the Daily Planet, the paper he eventually works at. These people are... This girl's trapped under some rubble, and I had to rewind frequently to try to piece things together. At one point, we see them walking around, just after it looks like he's taking care of all the business. And I'm like, when did Superman save them? These guys weren't getting her out with some makeshift shovels, lifting her out of the concrete. He didn't save them. Superman doesn't save anybody. Lois Lane, I'll stop you from falling. Everybody else, peace. Zod shows up, says, you ruined everything, we have to battle. And they have at it, and it goes on and on and on. And, most of the carnage is not from, ships attacking Metropolis. It's really, Superman's ego having to clash with everything in the vicinity. And more. They have to fly up in space and knock out a satellite. The most despicable part of the movie, Zod launches... I think he might have, kicked a semi-truck at him. Superman, he doesn't stop the semi-truck. We've seen that before. Hell no, this is brooding, tough Superman. He don't give a shit. Hops right over the semi-truck. He crashes into a building, blows the building over. How many people died there, Superman? I don't care, because I wasn't looking. That's his... I'll just jump over the shit and it blows up behind me and it don't bother me, because I'm an action hero. That was just oh my... If I'd seen that in theaters, I probably would have yelled something at the screen and people would have laughed. Eventually, they wear each other down some. Zod's gonna laser some folks, says, you love these people? Why don't you kill for them? Something like that. He's like, don't make me do this. Snap. Snaps his neck. So this Superman will kill somebody. If he can kill Zod, he can kill people pretty easily. You know, at that point, it's like movie's essentially over. But what's Clark going to do now? Oh, I'm going to be a reporter. So he goes and applies for a job. He's like an intern, I think. I don't know what he is yet, but he goes to the Daily Planet. Has his glasses on. Now, until this point, I was really applauding the way the movie treated Clark Kent for the sake of not being the goof with the glasses. I realize that's a big part of the earlier Superman films. I think you can do a Superman film without goofy Clark. However, if anybody took pictures of Superman, and they will eventually, how's he going to explain this stuff to the people of the planet? I liked how Lois recognized him and was going to keep a secret when he had the glasses on. But what's everybody else going to do? Is everybody else going to be like, oh, that doesn't look like Clark Kent at all? The second movie's being set up to suck. Huge. The Superman vs. Batman title. How many good movies have verses in the title? The best movie to ever have verses in the title is Monsters vs. Aliens. And it's not amazing. Ben Affleck, you've already played a superhero. I think everybody should only do one. Anything happening with the planet? Well, I don't know. Does that look like Clark Kent? What's going to happen there? They already wrecked Metropolis. Where can they go from here? I think I've gone on with that long enough, folks. You know, I didn't really hate the movie, though. Like, it did some things all right. I think on IMDb I gave it like a 7 out of 10. I can't remember, honestly, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And sometimes I give a movie a 7 out of 10, like I did The Dark Knight Rises, and it's a disappointment. So it's kind of a failure when you expect more and you end up in the alright. When you expect, oh, that looks like it's going to suck, and it's alright. It did some things pretty effective. It didn't do everything right. Looking forward, if we're lucky enough, I might be able to make a video about Captain America the Winter Soldier. This is going to take several hours to convert, then render and export an FCP from 2006. Making these videos is not easy, and it's not paying me any money, and I'm not getting the kind of fans I feel like I should earn. But I'll try to give you guys something. I've heard, I think this was thrown around before, this Patreon site where people pay maybe 25 cents every new video. If just few people pitched it and I was making $10 a video, this would actually work out pretty well for me. But maybe I could launch a new channel on YouTube and they not screw me for a change and it could take off. And maybe I could actually make some cash. So, I guess next time it's Winter Soldier. Tomorrow, maybe.
Do 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 do.